We got one of my favorites here on the program, Gerald Meerschaert, who's going to be back in action at UFC Fight Night on April 17th. Gerald, how's it going, man?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing, James?
I'm doing well. It's been a bit. Of course, you haven't fought in a while, but good to see you back. When did you find out about this fight, and was it the right amount of time off?
It was the right amount of time off, and it's probably the most notice I've had for a UFC fight. I think it was even before the holidays, actually, that I found out about it. So originally we were going to take it a little bit shorter notice, which I wasn't too fond of, but I liked the matchup so much I was willing to do it. And then it turns out he couldn't do it in that time frame, and they pushed it back to the date now, and that gave me, like 8 months or something like that to get ready for it. So I had more than enough time. I was able to take time off, make sure everything healed up good. My brain was all good, got all the scans done, checked out, everything's good to go. Got to ease my way back into training, and, I think that helped a lot, and I'll be, 100% ready for this next one.
What's interesting about this fight is the date of it being April 17th, the same night that your friend Ben Askren is going to be fighting, or boxing, I should say, Jake Paul. I imagine Askren's fight was booked after you had booked this fight by the sounds of it, right?
I would think so. It might have even been around the same time, but I don't know for sure. I would think we were first, though. But yeah, and I believe they have a live crowd.
Yeah.
I think. And then, when that's 1 week ahead of the UFC, of course, they're doing their live show in Jacksonville.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of interesting timing. Had you not had this fight, do you think you would have gone to that fight for Ben? I don't know if you'd corner him, but I know at times you've been there for him in a lot of his fights.
Yeah, I probably would have been helping out a little bit. Actually, maybe not. Let me take that back, because right now we got so many other guys with fights coming up. It's one of those things where, like, I'm always there for Ben when I can be. But, everyone on our team has fights, like right now. Like Christian Rodriguez and Brian Batista just did really, really well in the CFFC. And then now, pretty much leading up to that, this week they're gone with Manny and Jordan Newman. And then the next week we got Jordan Griffin. I'm the week after that. We got another guy rolling that's fighting down south the day before me. The week after that, we've got Anthony, and Anthony will be gone, of course, a lot longer because the PFL is doing a long quarantine. And then after that, we've got Rafion and Sergio. I think it's May 9th. So we're just really, really booked up these next couple of months. So I got to be in there and help those guys get ready too, and run some of the grappling practices.
You're not going down for Anthony's fight, right? Because that's a crazy amount of quarantining to do.
No,
okay,
I don't even think I'd be able to. Yeah, I think Duke will be quarantining through my fight, which is why he won't be there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Did you train with Askren at all for this boxing fight? I know he's done some cross training to work on his boxing, but have you seen him at all or trained with him?
He came into Roufus a few times. Biggie's working a lot with him. He's there with him every day. But otherwise, I haven't trained with him boxing. I mean, he's fighting a righty. I'm not a righty, and my guy's mostly a wrestler, which is funny because normally if it was an MMA situation, this would work out good for both of us because I'm fighting a wrestler, he's fighting a guy that wants to punch him, but different rule set, and he's been hopping around a lot of different places, taking Biggie with him. He's got some boxing guys he's working with. He was out at Wild Card. Triller's got him doing a lot of press stuff right now, and I'm getting to the tail end of my camp as well. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna find a way to watch after my fight, but just two different things going on right now.
So we haven't talked since your fight with Khamzat Chimaev. I know not the result you wanted. I know you kind of made a post about it. Was it just a simple mistake? Like, how do you look back on that performance against Chimaev?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things I could have done differently. I definitely didn't have a quote unquote good training camp as far as time to prepare and all that stuff with the supposed fight before, and then I wasn't going to fight for a while, and the one before that a lot of it I think has to do with I didn't take the appropriate time after the fight before that, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. I accepted the fight, so it's pretty much all on me, and it's just a game plan was to make space and let him fall into something, but it's really hard to do in a 25-foot cage, and really I'm better going forward. So when he was coming in so aggressive, I should have just been like, screw it, let's lock up and grapple, because I'm fine with anyone taking me to the ground anyway, and I know that's supposed to be his thing, but I feel like I would have been comfortable there. Clearly would have had a better chance if I got put to sleep with one punch, but it is what it is. Like I said before, I don't deserve that fight right now, and probably won't for a while, but if I ever get the chance to get that one back, I'd love to. If not, oh well. Yeah, I went out there, I tried it. A lot of people said no, and I said yes. So it is what it is.
How did you deal with everything on social media after that? Because there's a lot of idiots, obviously, and a lot of Chimaev fans as well. How did you navigate through that? Because you've had losses before, but this guy has got a huge fan base. So how did you deal with that? And did you get any crazy messages?
I don't think so. I mean, there was a lot of posts and stuff, but whatever. It doesn't really bother me. I enjoyed the ones that were actually funny. Like, I don't care if you take shots at me as long as you're clever about it. You know what I mean? I think 90% of the people, they would just like post the wolf emoji or something, which is like, I understand what you're trying to communicate, but that's not that original. But there was a few guys that had some funny ones. Like there was somebody said that like I did a really good job avoiding his wrestling. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's not bad. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. I'm not mad about it if you're clever with it. But yeah, otherwise I'm just mostly ignoring it. So it's I understand the implications if I lose, and I know none of these people. I communicate with none of them. So why would I care what they say?
Just last thing on Chimaev, were you surprised to see sort of what was going to happen after that fight? I mean, it didn't end up happening, but like he was going to fight Leon Edwards, the number 3 guy just after beating you, and nothing against you, but like obviously like we haven't seen that before in the UFC where you just see someone, win a couple fights and then they're already getting to fight like a contender in a different division. Were you surprised by that, or were you kind of like, because it looked to me like had he fought Leon and had he beat Leon, he was going to get the title shot. It looked like that to me. I don't know how you thought about that.
I mean, I was kind of salty at first, so I didn't think about it too much, if I'm being honest. But, yeah, I was kind of interested to see what would happen. Really unfortunate him getting sit like that. And, like, honestly, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I like the guy, but you never want to see anyone go through that, especially a young kid that's got such a bright future. And I think, they were trying to fast track him because he had such dominating victories. You can kind of do that, especially in such a short amount of time. It's something we haven't really seen before in the UFC. So, they were riding the wave as long as they could, and due to circumstances outside of his control, it kind of got taken off the rails there. But otherwise, it would have been interesting to see how he did with Leon. After being in there with him, he genuinely loves fighting. I'll definitely say that about him, and he's definitely gonna pretty much do the same thing every time. He's gonna come forward and throw hands to either hurt you or to get into his takedown. So I think in the future we'll see that once he gets healthy. But yeah, it's interesting to see where they take his next step. I would still, if I had to make a bet, at least someone top 15, if not top 10, because they still got all that hype behind them, and they'll probably try to bring that back. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's got such a big backing. But yeah, that's just one of those things where they'll find a lull in there as far as like big fights, and then they'll probably either throw that to start or cap off another big run of fights after kind of like a bunch of fight nights, I would think.
Let's talk about your fight. Bartosz Fabinski, 15-4 record. That's what we know about him. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
I feel like stylistically it definitely favors me, right? Because I know they say he's a judo guy. Seems to be more of a straight, like, kind of European freestyle type wrestler, just gets in on the double leg. To his credit, for his build, a little bit shorter, stocky guy, he wrestles to make the most out of his physical attributes, right? He gets to the hips. He does a good job keeping his waist below your waist, getting the hands locked to lift either on the double leg or a high crotch and finish out the back, kind of like DC does with a lot of guys. Seems to have pretty good pressure on top. Not super active, but active enough. He's still going to try and hit you a little bit, but he's really just trying to smother. On the downside, he's susceptible to submissions. So, like his last couple, I think. I know his last one for sure, he lost by armbar. And, I would expect him to have worked a lot on that. But I'm really, really comfortable on the ground in any position, including off my back. Not that I, want to be there necessarily, but worst comes to worst, his A1 favorite position is kind of being on top in that guard position. And I got plenty of weapons from there. You know what I mean? So I feel like the matchup definitely favors me, and I think I really got an edge on the feet as well. I've actually been on the feet with some guys. Eric Anders, Eric Spicely stood up with Deron Wynn for most of the fight. Guys that like chucking bombs and that can hurt people, and I stood in the pocket and boxed with them just fine. So I think that side of it should definitely be, in my favor.
Training camp, you talked a bit about it there. You got, Jordan Newman fighting this Friday at the time of recording this. You've got a couple other teammates with fights coming up. Who have you mainly got to work with? Because I know there's been a few guys that have left Roufus Sport. I know Brendan Allen's at Sanford now. I know Bilal Muhammad, I believe, is back in Illinois. Like, who are you getting to work with?
Well, we got some of our up-and-coming guys that are bigger, Sadiq Sanan and Dexter. They've been a really big help coming in for me. Sadiq's more of a 70-pounder. Dexter, he's a bigger guy, 85 or 205er. Of course, Jordan Newman, I've been working with him. Probably one of the strongest human beings on earth from a grappling standpoint. And I'm telling you, obviously he's still a work in progress because he's so green, but like he could give fits to some of the best guys in the world, and he's only going to get better. He's going to be a name in Bellator that people are going to know very, very soon. Also, my guy JP St. Louis, he moved down to Florida, but he's been coming up with me a lot. I brought him up here for a couple weeks before. He's coming up again to help me finish out the camp and then go with me for Fight Week, actually, which is really awesome. So I definitely look forward to returning the favor in the future and going down there to help him because, he's about the same stature and also a righty just like the guy I'm going up against.
When did he move to Florida? I didn't know that.
Yeah, maybe maybe I should be putting his business out there. Like
no
that.
worries.
Yeah, he's been down there for a little bit. Yeah. So
okay, fair enough.
Just nothing with the gym. Like he's all cool with Roufus Sport. Obviously, he's been back. Him and Duke are still cool. I think it was more for family reasons, but he's down there training with Phil Rowe and all them.
Oh, gotcha.
So
okay.
Still got some good guys to go with, and I know he's got family down there and got a job down there. So
it's a lot warmer
but still,
too.
Hey, I'm not gonna be mad at someone for moving to Florida from Wisconsin. I just I get it.
Yeah. So he'll be in your corner. Duke won't be. You said who else will be in there with you?
I'll have JP, Newman, and Cushman.
Oh, nice. Cush coming down there. That's great. How's this fight unfolding on April 17th?
Well, I know that guy's going to come forward. He's going to lean very, very heavily to his right, my left, which is a terrible idea against someone who throws really hard kicks. And he's going to kind of paw with that front hand. After he listens to this, maybe he'll try and duck a throw an overhand like he saw Heinisch do. And then he's going to go for my legs. And most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to down block on him. I'm going to get to front headlock position. I'm going to start tagging him in the face. He's going to take another bad shot to his knees. I'll circle behind him. And if I don't TKO him, I'm going to grab his neck.
How many more fights do you have left on your contract? Like, have you thought about sort of the future in terms of your UFC career?
I think I have 1 or 2 left, if I remember correctly.
Well, that brings me to my next question. Like, are you worried at all, if this doesn't go your way, that this could be it? I mean, you never know, but, with two stoppage losses, that could be, it's tough, right? Obviously, to keep you on the roster.
Yeah, honestly, right now, I feel so good taking my time coming back into training. I'm so mentally clear right now. I haven't had an actual, real training camp or not even training camp, but, real long period of actual, normal training like most people since, the Apex fight started until very recently. So would have liked to had the reset set up differently, obviously, but taking that time is just what I needed, and I'm physically, mentally, everything. I'm sharp as I've ever been right now. I feel really good. I'm not even thinking about losing right now. I'm just thinking about going out there and performing my absolute best, and I just don't see a way that guy can stop me.
Love it. Great mentality. Downtime, imagine more science shows, or what else are you getting up to when you're not training?
Now I've been keeping pretty busy getting a baby room put together because...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So when's the due date? I was going to ask you about that. Sorry. You know what? I looked on your Instagram, and for some reason I couldn't find a post about it, but I do... I was like, did you have are you going to be a dad soon? But yeah, that's right. You are going to be a dad. So do you know the gender yet?
Yeah, we're going to have a boy.
Congrats. And when's the due date?
Early May. So pretty much I get back, and it's if he doesn't come earlier, obviously, right? Because, you get up to that certain point, and it could be any time. Could pop out when I'm gone. I hope he doesn't. Hope he just waits a little bit. You know what I mean? But it'll be 2 weeks from when I get back, or any day in between then. So I'm really, really excited.
That's great. How's your wife doing with everything? I know you got to sort of tend to every need and all that, and make sure everything's in order. Because, yeah, I've been there. Like I said, my son's going to be 4 this year, which is crazy. So.
Yeah, no, she's handling like a boss, honestly. I mean, I can tell there's some discomfort, but I mean, she, works full time in medical device sales, and like she's just crushing it. She's still taking care of all of her responsibilities, going everywhere, going to these operations and stuff to help doctors, and still making time to do everything else. So, obviously I hear about aches and pains and like different stuff like that, but honestly, hats off to her, because I don't know that I could handle it that well.
Right. No, it's difficult. And I know it's kind of way looking far ahead, but I imagine, do you want to get your kid in martial arts? Is that something you've thought of, or,
Probably, yeah. I mean, I, want him to do something, if nothing else, just to learn that like losing at something or not knowing everything is okay, because I can definitely tell the difference between kids that I've seen, because I've helped coach kids classes before, specifically in like wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but like I can tell the kids that have actually competed a little bit and they're used to being put in adverse positions and having to work out of it, and just not freaking out or getting upset. You know what I mean? Because there's, the new kids will come in and they want to cry or like start a fight when they're kind of getting roughed up. But then the kids that have been in it for a little bit, they get really like, oh, okay, you want to play this game. And it's like, there's no negative emotions. It's just more competition, which I think is really, really healthy. And I think a lot of adults now could really benefit from too, to be honest with you.
Good stuff, man. Well, I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for this fight, man. April 17th, UFC Fight Night. Gerald, always appreciate the time, man. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, you can look me up on Instagram at TheRealGM3, on Twitter, or I think TheGM3 on Instagram and TheRealGM3 on Twitter. I don't have a TikTok because I'm not 15. That's pretty much the only places you can get a hold of me.
Bilal's going to be insulted, I think. Isn't he?
I hope he is.